Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, another gorgeous day sailing the high seas. Unfortunately, I don't have a specific location for you, so there are no Sujano points in this video. However, I do have a lot of news to talk about. Now, the first thing we're talking about is Drastic DS. I've had a lot of people ask me about this one because Drastic DS did disappear from Google Play. And this shouldn't really be a surprise to anybody because we did talk about this one last year, unless you forgot about it. Anyways, here it is gone from Google Play. But the weird part is that if I go into my purchase history, because I purchased it before it was free, it is no longer there. It's almost like it was never on Google Play in the first place. But either way here, I would say that Drastic DS is not necessarily dead. The developer has stated he plans on open sourcing it at some point in time. It's just not on Google Play, and it probably won't come back to Google Play. And it's worth mentioning, if you do see anything that resembles Drastic on Google Play, it's 100% fake. And speaking about updates, next up we're talking about the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck just got a little bit better, at least in terms of battery life. So there's a brand new update that happened on February 14th on the Steam Deck beta client. And they say here they reduced polling rate while the Steam frame limiter is active to save additional power. And this can save up to 6% of battery life when running at 30 frames per second in a low power game like HLT. Now, I don't know about you, but I like small updates that make the Steam Deck just a little bit better. I mean, the Steam Deck is still my favorite handheld out there. I think it's amazing, and I'm glad it's still getting updated the way it is. And speaking about small updates, next up we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation on Android with Citra MMJ, where MMJ is a performance-based fork of Citra. And Citra MMJ just got a brand new update. It's a small update, and apparently it fixes some stuff in Monster Hunter 4G. Next up here, we're talking about Nintendo Switch flashcards with UnlockSwitch. And we talked about UnlockSwitch the other day when they had a very cryptic tweet that didn't make a whole lot of sense and, in my opinion, was not a good look for anything. Anyways, they did provide an explanation here, and, well, the explanation, I would say, is also not that great. Now, in my opinion here, and this may be a hot take, but I don't think so. I think everything regarding the whole MIG Flash and UnlockSwitch situation is just unnecessarily chaotic and dramatic and ridiculous. And this post kind of exemplifies that. So they say here, yesterday's message was simple: give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. We originally launched under the name UnlockSwitch, a project inspired by Team MIG. So as a gesture, we redirected our domain to them, a small gift, nothing more. They then go on to say, we're moving forward with a new name. Our team is growing. Some moderators weren't happy about our decision to step away, but we'll say it again, we have no ego issues, and we're done with online drama. They seem to create a whole bunch of online drama. Anyways here, they say we simply don't have time for it. No hard feelings, we wish you the best. So yes, the name UnlockSwitch is no longer in use, but the project in the works is absolutely not. So it seems as if they are continuing on under a different name altogether. But let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments below. In my opinion here, but my opinion hasn't changed. The whole UnlockSwitch and MIG Flash projects are highly questionable at best. Now, before we go into the next segment, on a side note here, I don't have any whales to see, but there are some birds flying around. So I'll try to get those on camera and let me know if you guys can see them. Next up, we're talking about Fedora, and this one is, well, this one is super weird. So this comes to us from Gaming on Linux, and they say Fedora threatened with legal action from OBS Studio due to their Flatpak packaging. For those who may be unaware, OBS Studio is incredibly popular with YouTubers and streamers. I use it on my PC. And OBS Studio is used for a whole bunch of different things, like screen recording, game capturing, game recording, and even more. And I think OBS Studio is a fantastic program. Anyways, here it seems that Fedora is breaking Flatpaks, and they're poorly packaged and broken. From my understanding, it seems that Fedora is, well, they're causing headaches for OBS Studio, and I can kind of see where they're coming from here. OBS says, the unofficial OBS Studio Flatpak on Fedora Flatpaks is seemingly poorly packaged and broken, leading to users complaining upstream, thinking that they are being served the official package. We would like to request that this package is either removed or made clear that this is a third-party package. It should not be upstream's responsibility to ensure downstream packages are working, especially when they overwrite official packages. And I would also like some sort of explanation on why someone thought it would be a good idea to take a Flatpak that was working perfectly fine, break it and publish it at a higher priority to our official builds. Now it seems that things have escalated quite a bit since then, because here's what they say. Since it's clear that Fedora does not have any interest in a rational discussion at this point and has decided to resort to name calling, we are now considering the Fedora Flatpaks distribution of OBS Studio a hostile fork. That's some pretty serious stuff. They say here, this is a formal request to remove all of our branding, including but not limited to our name, our logo, and any additional IP belonging to the OBS project from your distribution. Failure to comply may result in further legal action taken. And this is a big message. We'll have to wait and see moving forward what Fedora actually does about this, but I mean, I think it makes sense. Yes, OBS is free and open source and you can do what you want with it. But when you're doing what you want with it, you can't call it OBS. You have to change the name completely, because then it's technically a fork. And impersonation is definitely not the way to go. And speaking about legal stuff, next up we're talking about Nintendo. And it seems as if Nintendo is trying to take the legal battle from Japan all the way to the US against Palworld. They seem to be filing some patents, and a bunch of them have been rejected. Now these new patents that Nintendo are trying to file are being coined as Anti-Palworld patents online. And I don't know how this is going to work. I mean, I'm not a lawyer and this is not legal advice, but I don't think in the US you can file a patent and then retroactively go after someone who did something prior to that patent being filed, because the patent didn't exist at the point when they did that stuff. Who knows here? I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think that makes any sense, and what works in Japan may not necessarily work in the US. So who knows what's going to happen here moving forward, but it does seem Nintendo is relentless in their approach. And if you are curious about this one and wanted to learn more about the patents, there's a very good article over on Game Rant, and like everything we talk about, link will be in the description below right at the bottom. Either way here, it's very interesting to see how much money Nintendo is spending on this stuff. I'd be very curious to know the dollar amount. Next up, we're quickly talking about Elden Ring Nightreign. And if you were excited to test this game out a little bit early and you couldn't, you're not alone here. It seems they had quite a bit of server issues just due to the overall popularity. And they said here in a tweet, the first session of the Elden Ring Nightreign network test has ended. We apologize for the inconvenience caused by the game server issues. Work is currently ongoing to improve the stability of the network test. An additional network test session is being considered. So there may be hope to possibly get on a test later on if they actually have another one. I'm assuming they will, given the fact that they're going to want to make sure they're not going to have server issues. And speaking about heads up, next up we're quickly talking about Amazon. And if you've got an Amazon Kindle and you like to pull stuff off of your Kindle to your computer, for example, books you've bought, you may not like an update that's coming on February 26th. So they say here, starting February 26, 2025, the download and transfer via USB option will no longer be available. You can still send Kindle books to your Wi-Fi enabled devices by selecting deliver or remove from device option, but you won't be able to download copies of your purchased books to a computer. And I think a lot of people are going to be very upset about that update. And speaking about stuff people may be upset about, last up here we're talking about Reddit. And it seems that Reddit is going to be hiding stuff behind paywalls. Paid subreddits seem to be on the way. So the full article for this one is over on Ars Technica, and it says here in a paragraph, when asked this week about plans for some Redditors to create content that only paid members can see, the CEO says it's a work in progress right now, so that one's coming. We're working on it as we speak. Additionally, here it says, when asked about new key features that you plan to roll out for Reddit in 2025, the CEO says, paid subreddits, yes. Now, unfortunately, I don't know when this is going to be rolled out. I don't know how it's going to be rolled out. I don't know how much this stuff is going to cost, but I'm hoping here that the users have full control of everything. For example, if it was kind of like Patreon and you've got a Patreon and stuff hidden behind a Patreon, maybe Reddit will function in a similar fashion for some people. That may be a decent option for some people out there, and I'm really hoping they don't take an approach where you need a paid account just to see stuff in the first place. And to elaborate on that, I mean Reddit deciding what to lock behind paywalls and not users of Reddit. We'll have to wait and see on how this is all rolled out, and if it's rolled out in a very good way and it doesn't harm anything, or if it's rolled out in a negative way. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff, and there were a couple of fluffs, not the legendary one fluff, and you'll be seeing her relatively soon. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.